Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Yacono. Amanda Hill is off tonight. With the damage caused by 3 vicious storms last winter still fresh in the minds of so many people along the coast, Governor Janet Mills today helped update her administration's plans to combat climate change in the coming decades. That includes reducing the state's carbon footprint even more. News Center Maine's Caroline LaCour has our top story.
It's been nearly a year since storms devastated coastal communities in our state. Right now, Maine is on the clock. It only has so much time to protect itself from even worse damage.
This historic undertaking of rebuilding our communities is bringing with it a greater, deeper understanding of the perils of climate change and a renewed urgency to protect Maine from its effects.
That's why members of Maine's Climate Council are updating the state's goals to combat a future dictated by climate change. This is the plan, and it's close to 200 pages are benchmarks of success already met and steps to be made in the next 4 years.
There is a major theme of resilience and new strategies in every sector to reach that goal.
To do so, major investments towards natural disaster preparation and local climate adaptation financing is top of mind to protect communities.
Land use was another area that the council wrestled with, especially land use conflicts.
Goals are set to increase the total acreage of conserved land by 30% with a deadline of 2030. While the state has already made great strides to incentivize the use of heat pumps, the plan also aims to continue a push to modernize buildings with clean energy sources.
Most of our emissions come from the transportation sector and from our own homes, as most Mainers remain reliant on gasoline, heating oils, and other fossil fuels.
Despite an incoming administration and ambitious plans, climate leaders say the goals set out in the update are achievable regardless of federal assistance.
We've made progress on every goal we set in 2020. Many of the goals we're trying to achieve 2030 targets, and we're on the right trajectory.
Thank you all for being here.
The plan will now head to the state legislature for consideration.
The threat is real. We know it, and the danger is here and now. So again, Maine will not wait to act.
In Bath, Caroline LaCour, News Center, Maine.
And in the report, the Maine DEP estimates the state is already 91% of the way to becoming entirely carbon neutral by 2045. To read more about that report, we will have a link to it on our website and mobile app. Fire destroyed part of a house in the town of Waterford this morning. When fire crews got to that scene at the home on Sweden Road, an attachment to that home was the only part on fire. So the mission for firefighters was to keep the flames from spreading to the rest of that house. They did manage to do that, keeping damage to that part a minimum. However, that attachment, which did have living quarters, is a total loss. One person was home at the time the fire started. That person made it out safely. And the state fire marshal's office now tells us a man from the town of Acton who was severely burned while trying to put out a fire on his property back on Sunday has now died from his injuries. The fire scorched nearby woods and a shed at Volney Spalding's home. He suffered severe burns to the upper half of his body. He was taken by life flight to Maine Medical Center in Portland, where he died yesterday. Speaking of Life Flight, that organization is trying to call attention now to an incident that happened recently involving a laser pointed at one of its helicopters mid-flight. Life Flight says it happened recently in Scarborough.